The sound of the spoon hitting the bowl was louder than the slap that came next. My name is Nana May. I'm 74 years old, and the night my own son raised his hand at me began with soup. Just soup. I stood at the stove that evening, my back aching, my hands trembling just enough to remind me that age always collects its debt. The pot bubbled softly. Chicken soup. His favorite. I tasted it once, then twice. It was warm, simple, honest. I smiled. He'll like this, I whispered to myself. I always said things out loud when I was alone. It made the house feel less empty, less cold. The front door slammed. I flinched. That sound used to mean my husband was home. Back when he still lived. Back when this house still had laughter. Now it meant Victor. My son. Ma, his voice thundered from the hallway. Where's my food? In the pot, I called back. Just finishing. You always say that. His footsteps were heavy, angry, each step a warning. I ladled the soup carefully into his bowl. My hand shook a little more now. I placed it on the table. There you go, sweetheart. He sat, didn't look at me, didn't thank me. He grabbed the spoon, scooped, tasted, and then the spoon clanged against the bowl. What the hell is this? My heart jumped. It's soup, I said softly. Chicken, like you asked. There's no salt. The room went silent. I laughed nervously. A mistake. A reflex. Oh, I must have forgotten. You can add. His chair scraped back. Before I could blink, he stood over me. You're useless, he snapped. Can't even do one thing right. I felt that old familiar shrink inside me. The one that learned how to disappear when voices got loud. I'm sorry, I said. I'll fix it. I reached for the salt. That's when his hand came down. I didn't see it coming. I only felt it. A sharp crack. White light. My head snapped sideways. I hit the floor. Hard. The world spun. The ceiling blurred. For a moment, I didn't know where I was. Then I tasted blood. Get up, Victor said coldly. Stop acting. I tried. My arms shook. My legs wouldn't listen. Victor, I whispered. Please. He kicked the bowl. Soup splashed across the floor like spilled memories. Pathetic, he said. My friends' mothers treat them like kings. Friends. He hadn't had real friends in years. You raised me wrong, he continued. You made me weak. I lay there, my cheek pressed to the cold tile, my heart hammering like it wanted to escape. I could see the anger in his eyes, and something worse, contempt. You're lucky I even stay here, he said. Don't forget whose house this is. My house, bought with my husband's sweat, paid with my years. But I said nothing. I never did. He grabbed his jacket. I'm going out, he snapped. Clean this mess. The door slammed again. Silence followed. Thick. Heavy. I stayed on the floor for a long time. I don't know how long. Minutes. Hours. At some point, tears streamed down my face and soaked into the tile. Not from pain. From shame. From realizing something I had avoided for years. My son hated me. I pulled myself up using the counter. Every bone screamed. I caught my reflection in the microwave door. A red mark bloomed across my cheek. My lip was split. I didn't recognize the woman staring back. She deserved it, a voice whispered in my head. The same voice that had kept me silent all these years. I cleaned the floor. I always cleaned the floor. Later that night, I sat on my bed with an ice pack pressed to my face. That's when the phone rang. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to. Hello. My voice cracked. Mama. The sound of my daughter's voice broke me. Claire. I had a feeling, she said softly. Are you okay? I closed my eyes. Mothers always know. No, I whispered. I'm not. Silence. Then, what did he do this time? My chest tightened. This time, I repeated. Claire sighed. A tired sound. A guilty sound. Mama, you should have called sooner. The dam broke. He hit me, I said. Over soup. There it was. The truth. She inhaled sharply. Oh God. I didn't add salt, I continued, my voice shaking. I forgot. That's not why, Claire said firmly. That's never why. I wiped my tears. I'm scared, I admitted. Another pause. Then she said the words that would change everything. Mama, he's been lying to you. My heart stopped. What do you mean? Claire hesitated. There's something you don't know, she said. Something I should have told you years ago. My hands trembled. What is it? I whispered. Her voice dropped. Victor has been planning something, and you're at the center of it. The line went quiet, and in that silence, I realized the soup wasn't the beginning. It was the excuse. The past doesn't knock before it enters. It crashes through the door wearing a smile. My name is Nana May, and the night after my son hit me, I remembered a wedding that should have warned me. Claire arrived early the next morning. I heard her before I saw her. The soft knock, careful, like she was afraid the house might break. Mama, she called. I'm here, I said. She stepped inside and froze. Her eyes went straight to my face. Oh my God, she whispered. I turned away. It's nothing, I lied. I bumped into the cabinet. She crossed the room in 3 steps and cupped my face gently. Mama, she said, her voice shaking. That's a handprint. I didn't answer. Didn't need to. She hugged me tight. So tight it hurt. But I welcomed the pain. We sat at the kitchen table where the soup had spilled. The stain was gone, but the memory wasn't. Tell me everything, Claire said. I stared at my hands. I forgot the salt, I said. Her jaw tightened. Mama, she said slowly. This didn't start with soup. I looked up at her, and suddenly, I was back there. The wedding hall smelled like roses and cheap perfume. Victor stood at the altar, tall, handsome, smiling like a stranger. I remember smoothing my dress, whispering to myself, my son is getting married. I should have felt joy. Instead, my stomach twisted. Ma, Victor had snapped earlier that day. Don't embarrass me. I won't, I promised. I always promised. The ceremony was beautiful. Everyone said so. The bride, Elena, looked like porcelain. Perfect. Too perfect. She smiled at Victor like he hung the moon. I clapped when everyone else did. But when Victor turned toward me, his eyes were cold. Warning. At the reception, I sat alone. Families laughed. Glasses clinked. Claire leaned close and whispered, he hasn't looked at you once. It's his day, I said. Let him be happy. But happiness shouldn't feel like exile. Then came the speeches. Victor stood up, glass raised. I want to thank everyone who made me who I am today, he said. Applause. My heart swelled. Maybe he'd mention me. Just once. My father, he continued, for teaching me strength. My husband had been dead 10 years. Claps. And Elena's family, he said, smiling. More applause. Then, he looked right at me. And my mother, he said slowly. The room went quiet. I held my breath. For teaching me what not to become. Laughter. Nervous at first. Then louder. My face burned. Victor smirked. She showed me weakness, he continued. Fear. Dependency. People shifted in their seats. I wanted the floor to swallow me. I learned early, he finished, that if you don't control your house, it controls you. Silence. I couldn't breathe. I stood up. Victor, I whispered. Please. He leaned closer. Sit down, he muttered, or I'll finish you. I sat, and that's when I knew. My son didn't love me. He owned me. Back in the present, my hands shook. That was the first time, I said to Claire. In front of everyone. She stared at me. And you stayed. Where would I go? I whispered. She looked away. Guilt lived in her eyes. Mama, Claire said carefully. Victor married Elena for a reason. What reason? She swallowed. Her father owns half the properties on this block. My heart skipped. And Victor used your house as collateral. The room spun. What? He refinanced it, she said. Years ago. I stood up. He can't, I said. This is my house. Claire's voice broke. Mama, you signed. I shook my head. No. You did, she said softly. He told you it was for taxes. I remembered the papers. The pen in my shaking hand. I trusted him, I whispered. Claire reached for me. He's drowning in debt, she said. And if he loses the house. She stopped. And if he loses it? I demanded. Her voice dropped to a whisper. He loses everything. The front door opened. Victor walked in, smiling. Look who's here, he said. The favorite child. Claire stood. You don't get to joke, she snapped. He glanced at my face. His smile faded. You tell her, he asked. Yes, Claire said. I did. Victor's eyes darkened. Mistake. He stepped closer to me. You want to ruin everything, he said quietly. You want us all homeless? You hit me, I said, my voice barely there. His jaw clenched. You pushed me. Claire gasped. Don't, she said. Victor laughed. This house, he said, belongs to me now. I felt my knees weaken. And if you talk, he added softly, I'll make sure you disappear quietly. The room went silent. My son looked me dead in the eyes, and I knew this wasn't abuse anymore. It was a plan. Some secrets aren't hidden in drawers. They live in blood, silence, and signatures you were never meant to read. My name is Nana May, and the day I learned the truth about my family was the day I stopped feeling like a mother. Victor left the house that afternoon like nothing had happened, whistling, keys jingling, not a shred of guilt in his walk. The door closed behind him, and the silence screamed. Claire locked it. Then she turned to me. Mama, she said, we need to talk. Properly. My legs gave out. We sat at the kitchen table, the same one where I once packed school lunches, birthday cakes, handwritten notes that said I love you. Now it felt like a crime scene. Claire pulled out a folder. Thick. Worn. How long have you known? I asked. She hesitated. Longer than I should have, she admitted. My chest tightened. Show me, I whispered. She slid the papers toward me. Legal language. Fine print. My name everywhere. Mortgage documents. Power of attorney. Medical directives. My signature. All of it. I don't remember signing these, I said. You wouldn't, Claire replied quietly. You trusted him. I stared at one page. In the event of incapacity. My hands began to shake. Incapacity. I repeated. Claire nodded. He had a doctor evaluate you, she said. Privately. I looked up sharply. What doctor? She swallowed. Elena's uncle. The room tilted. So they planned it, I whispered. Claire's voice cracked. Yes. Memories flooded back. Victor insisting on appointments. Victor answering questions for me. Victor saying, Mama gets confused sometimes. I had laughed then. Now my stomach twisted. They're trying to declare you unfit, Claire said, so he can sell the house without resistance. I pressed my hand to my mouth. My own son, I whispered. Claire reached for me. He didn't always used to be like this. I shook my head. He was, I said softly. I just didn't want to see it. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every creak sounded like footsteps. Every shadow felt like a threat. I lay awake thinking about the boy I raised. The boy who used to cry when I scolded him. The boy who once said, Mama, I'll take care of you forever. Tears streamed down my face. Forever came with conditions. At dawn, I heard whispers. Voices. I crept down the hallway. Victor's bedroom door was ajar. He was on the phone. Yes, he said. She's weakening. My heart froze. No, she suspects nothing, he continued. We move fast. Pause. Yes, after the assessment. Another pause. She won't fight. She never does. I stepped back. My breath caught. The realization hit me like a slap. They weren't waiting for me to die. They were preparing. Later that morning, Elena arrived. She smiled sweetly. Too sweet. Nana, she said, kissing my cheek. How are you feeling? I stiffened. Fine, I replied. Her eyes flicked to my bruise. Accidents happen, she said lightly. Victor's jaw tightened. Elena, he warned. She shrugged. We're family, she said. We should be honest. Then she leaned in. You should rest more, she whispered. Stress can confuse older minds. Claire stepped forward. Don't talk to her like that. Elena smiled. Or what, she said. You'll take her away? Victor laughed. She can't, he said. Legally. I felt sick. That afternoon, Claire and I drove to my sister Ruth's house. I hadn't spoken to her in years. Family fractures quietly. Ruth opened the door and froze. Oh, she said. It's you. Yes, I replied. It's me. We sat across from each other like strangers. She poured tea. Her hand shook. You know, I said. She sighed. Yes. My chest ached. How long? Since the wedding, she said. Victor came to me first. My voice trembled. And you didn't tell me? She looked away. He said you'd break, she whispered. That it would kill you. I laughed bitterly. And this won't. Ruth wiped her eyes. He said you owed him. That word hit deep. Owed, I repeated. For raising him alone, she said. For making sacrifices. My throat burned. I raised him with love, not chains. As we left, Claire whispered they all knew. The betrayal settled heavy. Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who protects your truth. And I had been surrounded by liars. That night, Victor confronted me. You went digging, he said. I met his eyes. Yes. His face hardened. You should stop. Or what? I asked. The room went still. He stepped closer. You don't want to find out. I could see the anger in his eyes. But for the first time, I wasn't afraid. Because I finally understood something. He didn't see me as his mother. He saw me as an obstacle. I went to bed knowing one thing. If I stayed silent, I would disappear. And no one would ask questions. The worst betrayals don't come with screams. They arrive smiling, holding papers, asking you to sign. My name is Nana May. And the night my son betrayed me for good, he tucked me in like a child. Victor knocked on my bedroom door just after midnight. Soft, polite, too polite. Mama, he called. Can we talk? My body went stiff. I sat up slowly. Yes, I said. He entered holding a glass of water. I thought you might be thirsty, he said gently. That voice, the one he used when people were watching. He placed the glass on my bedside table. Sat beside me. Too close. I'm worried about you, he said. I didn't answer. He sighed. You've been confused lately, he continued. Going places. Listening to people who don't understand. I looked at him. I understand plenty, I said. His smile faded for just a second. Then it returned. Thin. I've arranged something, he said. A short stay. Just to rest. My heart thudded. Stay where? A facility, he replied. Nice place. Doctors. Care. I stared at him. You want to lock me away? He laughed lightly. Don't be dramatic. I clenched my fists. I'm not going anywhere, I said. He leaned in. You don't get to decide. That's when he pulled out the papers. He laid them on my bed like weapons. Forms. Signatures. Official stamps. All you need to do, he said calmly, is sign. My hand shook. I already did, I whispered. Didn't I? His eyes flickered. Yes, he said. But this makes it easier. Claire's words echoed in my head. He's preparing. I pushed the papers away. No. Victor's jaw tightened. You're being difficult. I'm being your mother. He stood up, and the room changed. You think motherhood gives you power, he snapped. It doesn't. I flinched. It makes you weak. He paced. I've spent my whole life cleaning up your mistakes. What mistakes? I whispered. Being poor. Being emotional. Being small. Each word hit like a slap. I carried you, I said. I fed you. You controlled me, he shot back. With guilt. With sacrifice. I stared at him. I didn't recognize this man. You owe me, he said again. And I'm done waiting. He grabbed my wrist. Not hard. Not yet. Sign, he said. I pulled back. No. His grip tightened. I could see the anger in his eyes. Pure. Unfiltered. You always do this, he hissed. You push. I tried to stand. He shoved me back onto the bed. My breath left my body in a rush. Victor. I cried. He froze. For a second. Then his hand rose. I don't remember the pain as much as the sound. The sharp crack. The echo. The way the world seemed to tilt. I tasted blood again. Tears streamed down my face. You did this, he said coldly. You make me do this. Something inside me broke. Not my body. Something deeper. He stepped back. Smoothed his shirt. We'll talk in the morning, he said. Think carefully. Then he walked out. Locked the door. I heard the key turn. I sat there all night. My cheek burning. My heart hollow. I whispered into the darkness. I'm not your enemy. But I knew. To him, I was just in the way. At dawn, I heard voices. Victor. Elena. She's stubborn, Victor said. She'll sign, Elena replied. They always do. Always. Like I was a pattern. A statistic. Schedule the assessment, Victor said. And call the lawyer. My stomach dropped. I pressed my ear to the door. She's stronger than she looks, Elena said. But fear works. I slid down the door. Silent. Shaking. I wasn't just being abused. I was being erased. Later that day, Claire arrived. The door was unlocked. She rushed in. Mama. She stopped when she saw my face. What did he do? She demanded. I couldn't speak. She hugged me. Help me. I'm taking you out of here, she said. Victor appeared in the doorway. You're not, he said calmly. Claire stood. You touch her again, she warned, and I called the police. He smiled. Do it, he said. Let's see who they believe. The room went still, and I realized this wasn't just betrayal. It was war. There comes a moment when fear gets tired of living in your bones, and it finally stands up. My name is Nana May, and the morning I confronted my son, I was ready to lose everything. Claire didn't leave that day. She sat beside me like a guard. Victor watched us from the doorway, silent, calculating. Elena hovered behind him, arms crossed, eyes sharp. The house felt smaller, like the walls were listening. We need to talk, I said. Victor laughed. No, you need to rest. I stood, slowly. My knees trembled, but I stood anyway. I said, I repeated, we need to talk. Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise. Claire moved closer. We're not leaving until this is settled, she said. Victor scoffed. You don't get to make demands in my house. I met his gaze. This is still my house. The words tasted strange, but powerful. Elena stepped forward. Let's all calm down, she said sweetly. Nana, you're upset. I turned to her. No, I said. I'm awake. The room went quiet. Victor clenched his jaw. You locked me in my room, I said. You hit me. He shrugged. You fell. Claire snapped. Don't lie. Victor snapped back. Don't interfere. I raised my hand. No, I said firmly. This is between us. He stared at me. I could see the anger in his eyes. But something else too. Fear. I know about the house, I continued. I know about the papers. Elena stiffened. Victor's lips pressed thin. You had no right, he began. I had every right, I interrupted. It's my name. My life. You signed, he said. Because I trusted you, I replied. My voice cracked. But trust isn't consent. He laughed sharply. You sound like a lawyer. Claire stepped forward. We have one. Victor froze. What? Claire pulled out her phone. I recorded everything, she said. The threats. The lies. Elena's face drained. You wouldn't, Victor said. Claire met his eyes. I already did. Silence slammed into the room. Victor turned to me. You planned this. I shook my head. No, I said softly. You did. That landed. His voice rose. You think you can turn on me after everything I've done for you? For me, I whispered. You used me. You owe me, he shouted. No, I said louder. I gave you life. That was the gift. My heart pounded, but I didn't look away. Elena grabbed Victor's arm. Stop, she hissed. This is getting messy. He shook her off. She's manipulating you, he said to Claire. She's playing the victim. Claire laughed bitterly. She doesn't have to play. Victor stepped toward me. Too close. You ruined this, he said quietly, and you'll regret it. I didn't flinch. I already regret raising you in silence. His face twisted. That hurt him more than anything. I reached into my pocket, pulled out a folded paper. What's that? He asked. A copy, I said. Of everything. Elena gasped. Victor lunged. Claire blocked him. Touch her, she warned, and I pressed charges. He stopped, breathing hard. Trapped. I won't sign anything else, I said. I won't disappear. You can't win, he said. I nodded. I know. That surprised him. But I can survive. He stared at me like I was a stranger. Maybe I was. Later that evening, the house was quiet again. Too quiet. Victor locked himself in his room. Elena left, slamming the door. Claire sat beside me. You were brave, she said. I shook my head. I was desperate. She squeezed my hand. Sometimes that's the same thing. That night, I packed a small bag. Just in case. Photos. Medicine. My wedding ring. I tucked it under the bed. A secret. For the first time in years. As I lay down, I heard Victor pacing. Back and forth. Like a caged animal. I knew. This wasn't over. Confrontation doesn't end wars. It starts them. The most terrifying plans are never shouted. They're whispered behind closed doors, written in ink, and signed while you're still breathing. My name is Nana May, and the truth I uncovered next told me one thing very clearly. My son never planned to let me leave this house alive. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his hand coming toward my face again, heard the crack, felt the floor. The house creaked like it was warning me. At dawn, Victor finally left. I watched from the hallway as he grabbed his keys. Elena will stop by later, he said flatly. Don't do anything stupid. The door slammed. I exhaled. Slow. Shaky. Claire looked at me. This is our window, she said. We went to Victor's room. I had never gone in there without permission, even when he was a boy. Funny how habits outlive love. Claire closed the door behind us. Her hands trembled. If he finds out, she began. I know, I said, but we need proof. His room smelled like cologne and control. Everything was neat. Too neat. Claire checked drawers. I went to the desk. Locked. Of course. I remembered something. Victor always reused passwords. I typed my birthday. The drawer opened. My stomach dropped. Inside were folders. Legal folders. Medical folders. One was labeled May M. Final. I couldn't breathe. Claire opened it, and then she gasped. There were letters. Typed. Signed. From a private care facility. Patient transfer scheduled upon confirmation of incapacity. Another page. Contingency plan in the event of sudden decline. Sudden. Decline. Another letter. From a lawyer. Upon death. Property transfers immediately to Victor May. Death. Claire covered her mouth. This is premeditated, she whispered. I stared at the words. My name had become a project. Then I saw the last document. A medical form. Diagnosis. Early onset dementia. I laughed. A hollow sound. I don't have dementia, I said. Claire shook her head. No, she said. But they were going to say you did. My legs weakened. I sat on the bed. This wasn't about control, I whispered. Claire nodded slowly. It's about removal. Memories rushed back. Victor insisting I take new pills. Victor controlling my meals. Victor saying, you seem forgetful today. Oh God, I whispered. Claire grabbed my hands. He was building a record, she said, to make it believable. My chest tightened. He wanted me gone, I said. Yes, Claire replied. And soon. The front door creaked. We froze. Elena, Claire whispered. Footsteps. Light. Careful. She's alone, I said. We hid the folder, but I slipped one paper into my pocket. Just one. Proof. Elena knocked on my door. Nana, she called sweetly. I stepped out. Yes. She smiled. All teeth. I brought soup, she said. Soup. I almost laughed. We sat at the table. Claire stood nearby, watching. Elena stirred the soup slowly. You know, she said casually, Victor is under a lot of pressure. I said nothing. He loves you, she continued. He just doesn't know how to show it. I met her eyes. Don't lie to me. Her smile faltered. Elena, I said softly, how long have you known? She paused, then shrugged. Long enough. The honesty startled me. You helped him, I said. She sighed. Someone had to be practical. Practical about my death? I asked. She looked away. People your age don't last forever. Claire stepped forward. You plan to institutionalize her, she said. Then what? Elena's jaw tightened. That wasn't my concern. My heart broke open. You married my son for money, I said. She nodded. Yes. At least you're honest, I whispered. She leaned forward. You should be grateful, she said quietly. We were going to make it painless. Claire exploded. Get out. Elena stood. Careful, she warned. You don't want to make this ugly. She leaned close to me. Accidents happen, she whispered. Then she left. I collapsed into the chair, shaking. Tears streamed down my face. I trusted him, I sobbed. I trusted them. Claire held me. They underestimated you, she said. I shook my head. No, I whispered. They counted on me staying quiet. That afternoon, I made a decision. I called an old friend, Margaret. She answered on the second ring. Maggie, she said. My voice broke. I need help. She didn't ask questions. I'm coming, she said. That evening, Victor returned. He watched me carefully. You look tired, he said. I smiled. Just thinking. His eyes narrowed. About what? I met his gaze. About how much you've lied. The air went cold. What did you do? He asked. I said nothing, and that scared him. That night, as I lay in bed, I held the paper in my pocket. Proof. Truth. A weapon. And for the first time since the soup, I wasn't afraid of my son. I was afraid of what he'd do when he realized. I was no longer powerless. The most painful battles aren't fought with fists, they're fought inside the heart, where love and fear claw at each other until something dies. My name is Nana May, and the day after I learned my son planned to erase me, I woke up still loving him. That was the cruelest part. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Morning light crept in slowly, like it was afraid to touch me. My body ached, but my chest hurt worse, because no matter what Victor had done, no matter what he planned to do, he was still the baby I once rocked to sleep. I remembered his first word, Mama. I remembered his first fever, how I stayed awake all night, counting his breaths. I remembered selling my wedding ring to buy his school uniform. And now, he wanted me gone. Tears streamed down my face. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet grief. Claire knocked softly. Mama, she whispered. I didn't answer. She came in anyway, sat beside me. You didn't sleep, she said. I dreamed, I replied, and I wish I hadn't. She took my hand. What did you dream? I swallowed. I dreamed he was small again, I said, and he was crying. Claire closed her eyes. He still is, she said gently, just louder now. I got up slowly. My legs felt weak, not from age, from shock, from knowing the truth changes everything but fixes nothing. Victor didn't come out of his room all morning. No noise, no pacing. That worried me more than his shouting ever had. When abusers go quiet, it means they're thinking, planning. Around noon, my phone buzzed. A message from Victor. We need to talk. Alone. My hand shook. Claire saw my face. No, she said immediately. I have to, I replied. She grabbed my arm. Mama, he's dangerous now. I nodded. I know. Then why? Because, I said softly, if I don't face him, I'll always be running. Claire's eyes filled with tears. I'll be right outside, she said. I swear. Victor waited in the living room, standing, not sitting. He looked calm, too calm. You look tired, he said. I laughed bitterly. So do you. He didn't smile. You went into my room, he said. I didn't deny it. You found things you shouldn't have, he continued. I found the truth, I replied. His jaw clenched. You always think you know better, he snapped. That's your problem. No, I said quietly. My problem was thinking love was enough. That hit him. I saw it. He paced. You don't understand pressure, he said. The debt, the expectations. You chose them, I replied. He slammed his hand on the table. I chose survival. And I chose you, I said. Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. I never asked to be born, he muttered. No, I agreed. But you were loved. He laughed. Loved. You controlled every part of my life. I shook my head. I protected you. From what? He demanded. From becoming this, I whispered. His eyes darkened. You think you're innocent, he said. You think your sacrifices made you holy? I felt something twist inside me. No, I said. I think they made me tired. That stopped him. You ruined my life, he said suddenly. By staying. I stared at him. You wish I died? I asked. He didn't answer. That was answer enough. I sat down. My knees couldn't hold me anymore. I carried that guilt for years, I said, wondering where I failed you. He scoffed. You failed everywhere. I nodded slowly. Maybe, I said, but I won't fail myself now. That startled him. What does that mean? It means, I said, meeting his eyes, I won't disappear quietly. He stepped closer. You don't have a choice. I reached into my pocket, pulled out the paper. His face drained of color. Where did you get that? He demanded. You left it where I could find it, I replied, just like you left clues everywhere. He lunged, stopped, thought better of it. Claire's shadow appeared at the doorway. You're bluffing, he said. Am I? I asked. You wouldn't destroy your own son. I felt my heart crack. No, I said softly. I wouldn't. Then I lifted my chin. But you already destroyed your mother. His hand shook. You don't know what you're doing, he said. I know exactly what I'm doing, I replied. I'm choosing to live. He backed away. You'll regret this, he said. I nodded. I regret many things. Then I added, not this. That night, the house felt haunted. Victor locked himself in his room again. Claire slept on the couch. I lay awake, listening, waiting. Every sound felt like a threat. Around 2 a.m., I heard it. The front door. Slow, careful. I sat up, my heart pounding. Footsteps. Victor's whisper on the phone. Yes, tonight. My blood turned cold. I crept to the hallway, pressed myself against the wall. I can't wait, he whispered. She's becoming a liability. Pause. Yes, accidents happen. I covered my mouth. Tears streamed down my face. Not from fear, from confirmation. I went back to my room, sat on the bed, hands shaking. I thought about running, calling the police, but something stopped me. I wasn't done. Not yet. At dawn, I packed my bag again. This time fully. Documents, photos, proof. Claire woke. Mama, she whispered. We're leaving, I said. Her eyes widened. Now. I nodded. Before he decides for us, as we stepped toward the door, Victor appeared, blocking it, bag in his hand. You're not going anywhere, he said. The house held its breath, and so did I. When the truth finally speaks, it doesn't whisper. It shatters the room and demands witnesses. My name is Nana May, and the morning my son blocked the door was the morning everything spilled out. Victor stood there like a wall, tall, still, unmoving. His eyes flicked to my bag, then to Claire, then back to me. You're not leaving, he said calmly. The calm scared me more than his anger ever had. Move, Claire said. Victor didn't even look at her. This doesn't concern you. Claire laughed sharply. It concerns me when my mother's life is at risk. He smiled. You're exaggerating. I stepped forward. No, I said. You are. His jaw tightened. Put the bag down, he ordered. I held it tighter. I won't. You don't understand what you're doing, he snapped. I understand perfectly, I replied. I'm choosing safety. His eyes flashed. From me. Yes. The word landed heavy. You're sick, he said suddenly. You've always been sick. Claire inhaled sharply. I stayed quiet. You imagine things, he continued. You twist reality. I looked at him. Is that what you tell yourself? He stepped closer. Say it, he demanded. Say you're confused. No, I replied. Say you need help. No. His voice rose. Say you can't manage on your own. No, I said louder. His hand twitched. Claire stepped between us. Touch her, she warned, and I called the police. Victor laughed. You think they'll believe you, he said. A hysterical sister and a senile old woman? Something snapped inside me. I am not senile, I said. My voice was steady, clear, strong. I remember everything. He froze. I remember the papers, I continued. I remember the doctor you paid. I remember the night you locked me in my room. And I remember the soup. The room went silent. That was an accident, he said quickly. No, I replied. That was entitlement. Claire pulled out her phone. I recorded your call last night, she said. Victor's face drained of color. You what? I heard you, she continued, talking about accidents. He lunged, stopped, realized. Too many witnesses. You're bluffing, he said weakly. Claire pressed play. His own voice filled the room. She's becoming a liability. Accidents happen. Victor staggered back. No, he whispered. No, no, no. My knees gave out. I sat. Tears streamed down my face. Not from fear. From grief. That voice belonged to my son. You recorded me illegally, he shouted. Claire shrugged. Try explaining that to a judge. He turned to me. You would let her do this to me? I looked up. You did this to yourself. His voice broke. You don't know how much pressure I was under. I know, I said. I carried it for you. He shook his head wildly. I was drowning. And you pushed me under to breathe, I replied. There was a knock. Sharp. Loud. Authoritative. Victor froze. Claire looked at me. I called them, she whispered. The door opened. 2 officers stepped inside. Is everything all right here? One asked. Victor forced a smile. Yes, he said quickly. Just a family disagreement. I stood. Slowly. Deliberately. No, I said. This is abuse. The word echoed. Abuse. Victor stared at me like I had slapped him. She's confused, he said. She's been unwell. The officer turned to me. Ma'am. I met his eyes. I am afraid for my life. The room held its breath. They separated us. Asked questions. Claire showed the recordings, the documents, the bruises. Victor's calm began to crack. That's out of context, he shouted. She pushed me. One officer raised an eyebrow. Sir, he said, we'll decide that. Victor's voice shook. Mama, he whispered. Please. That word. Mama. It almost broke me. I looked at him, really looked, and saw fear. Not regret. Fear of consequences. He's my son, I said quietly. The officer nodded. And you're his mother, he replied. That doesn't mean you deserve this. Tears streamed down my face. Someone finally said it out loud. Victor was escorted to the side. Elena arrived screaming. This is a mistake, she shouted. She's manipulating everyone. The officer turned to her. Ma'am, please calm down. Victor shouted. Don't let them do this. I closed my eyes. My heart shattered. They didn't arrest him that day, but they documented everything. Warnings, reports, paper trails, protection. It was the beginning. That evening, Claire and I stayed with Margaret. Her small house smelled like safety, like old books and tea. I sat on the couch and cried. Hard, unashamed. I never wanted this, I whispered. Margaret squeezed my hand. Wanting safety isn't betrayal. Claire nodded. You didn't break the family, she said. He did. That night, I received a message. From Victor. You've destroyed me. I stared at it, then typed back. No. I told the truth. I turned off my phone. I lay awake listening to the quiet. No footsteps. No threats. Just silence. And for the first time in years, I slept. But peace never comes without a price. And I knew. Victor wouldn't stop. Not yet. Sometimes the most dangerous lie is the one that sounds like peace. My name is Nana May. And after the police left, the world expected me to forgive. The days that followed felt unreal. Too soft. Too quiet. As if the universe had paused, waiting to see what I would do next. I stayed at Margaret's house. A small place. Old furniture. No shouting. Safety smelled like chamomile tea and clean sheets. But even there, my heart wouldn't rest. Every morning, I woke up expecting to hear Victor's footsteps. Every night, I checked the locks twice. Trauma doesn't leave when danger does. It lingers. Claire tried to keep things normal. She cooked. She joked. She talked about the weather like it mattered. But I could see it in her eyes. She was waiting for the other shoe to drop. A week later, the letter arrived. Handwritten. Victor's handwriting. I recognized it instantly. My stomach dropped. Mama, Claire said when she saw my face. You don't have to read it. I nodded. I know. I opened it anyway. Mama, I never wanted things to go this far. I was under pressure you can't understand. Elena pushed me. The debt pushed me. I lost control. I'm still your son. My hands trembled. The words blurred. I'm willing to apologize. I'm willing to get help. But you need to stop this before it destroys us. Us. That word again. I folded the letter carefully. Sat very still. Claire watched me. Well, she asked quietly. I whispered he wants peace. Claire's jaw tightened. He wants control, she said. I closed my eyes. But what if he means it? I asked. She didn't answer. Because hope doesn't need permission. Against everyone's advice, I agreed to meet him. Public place. Daytime. Lawyer present. Boundaries. That's what they told me. That's what I promised. The cafe smelled like coffee and regret. Victor arrived early. He stood when he saw me. Mama, he said softly. That voice. The one that used to work. He looked thinner. Tired. Broken. And for one terrible moment, I almost forgot everything. I'm sorry, he said, sitting down. For the pain. For the fear. I studied his face. Waiting. For real remorse. I never meant to hurt you, he continued. I was overwhelmed. I said nothing. You know how much I've sacrificed, he added. There it was. I felt the shift. I need you to drop the report, he said quickly. Just the legal part. The rest we can heal privately. I looked at him. Why? I asked. He hesitated. It's affecting my work, he admitted. My reputation. Of course it was. What about my safety? I asked. He waved his hand lightly. I lost my temper once. Once. My bruises burned in memory. You locked me in my room, I said. He sighed. You exaggerate. I stood up. Meeting over. He panicked. Mama, wait. People stared. I didn't care. Outside, my knees shook. Claire caught me. You okay? She asked. No, I said honestly. But I'm learning. 2 days later, the smear campaign began. Whispers, messages, relatives calling, church friends avoiding my eyes. She's confused, someone said. She's always been dramatic, another added. Victor's version spread fast. Mine moved slowly. That's how it always is. I received another letter. Legal this time. A request for mediation. A demand to withdraw statements. A threat wrapped in politeness. That night, I cried harder than I had in years. Not because of fear. Because of grief. I had lost my son long before the soup. I was just finally admitting it. Margaret sat beside me. You can still love him, she said gently, without letting him destroy you. I nodded. But love doesn't silence guilt. Then came the voicemail. Victor's voice. Low. Cold. You're making this difficult, he said. You know how this ends. My blood ran cold. Claire listened beside me. That's a threat, she said. Yes, I whispered. And it's not the last one. That night, I made my final decision. I called the lawyer. I won't withdraw anything, I said. I won't mediate. There was silence. Then, are you prepared for the consequences? I closed my eyes. Yes, because I finally understood something. Peace offered by an abuser is just another trap. I went to bed with clarity. Not calm, but resolve. And deep down, I knew Victor would make one last move. The truth doesn't knock politely. It breaks the door down. My name is Nana May. I'm 74 years old. And the day my son tried to destroy me in public is the day the world finally learned who he really was. The courthouse smelled like old paper and fear. I hadn't slept. Not really. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Victor's voice. You know how this ends. I held my purse tightly. Inside it were documents, photos, medical reports, and one secret. Claire walked beside me. You don't have to be brave, she whispered. Just be honest. I nodded. Honesty had cost me everything already. The courtroom buzzed with whispers. I felt them before I heard them. Eyes, judgment, people who had already decided who I was. A confused old woman, a bitter mother, a liar. Victor sat across the room, suit pressed, hair neat, calm. He didn't look at me. That hurt more than hatred. Elena sat beside him, arms crossed, eyes sharp. She smiled when she saw me. Not kind, victorious. When the judge entered, everyone stood. I followed slowly. My knees ached. My heart pounded. This was it. Victor's lawyer spoke first. Smooth, confident. He painted a picture of stress, of misunderstandings, of a fragile elderly woman prone to exaggeration. I sat still, let him talk. Then Victor spoke. My mother has always been emotional, he said softly. I love her, but she's confused. The room murmured. I stared at the floor. My hands trembled. Finally, it was my turn. I stood. The microphone felt too high, my voice too small, but I spoke anyway. My name is Nana May, I said, and my son beat me because the soup had no salt. Gasps. Victor stiffened. I told them everything. The shouting, the slap, the lock. I showed the bruises, the photos, the medical reports. The judge leaned forward, listening. Victor shook his head. She's lying, he said. She's always been dramatic. I felt the old shame rise, the familiar urge to shrink. But I didn't. Then my lawyer said, Your Honor, may we play the voicemail? Victor froze, just for a second. But I saw it. The recording echoed through the room. You're making this difficult. You know how this ends. Silence followed. heavy, unforgiving. Victor stood abruptly. That was taken out of context. The judge raised a hand. Sit down. Victor didn't. I want to explain. Sit down. He did, slowly. Then the judge looked at me. Mrs. May, he said gently, is there anything else? I swallowed. My heart thundered. Yes, I said. There is. I reached into my purse, pulled out the envelope. The secret. This, I said, holding it up, is the reason my son lost control. Victor's face drained of color. Elena whispered, what is she doing? I handed it to the clerk. Inside were bank records, loan documents, forgery reports. My son, I said, voice shaking but clear, has been stealing from me for years. The courtroom erupted. Victor jumped up. That's not true. I continued. He forged my signature, took loans in my name, used my house as collateral. The judge's eyes widened. He beat me, I said quietly, because I refused to sign another paper. Silence, the kind that changes lives. Elena stood. You told me she agreed. Victor turned on her. Shut up. The judge slammed the gavel. Order. Victor looked at me. Finally, pure hatred. You ruined me, he hissed. I met his gaze. No, I said. You did. The judge leaned back. Face hard. This court is ordering a criminal investigation. Victor's lawyer sat down, defeated. They escorted my son out in handcuffs. He struggled. Mama, he shouted. You can't do this. I watched him go. Tears streamed down my face. Not of regret, of release. Outside, reporters swarmed. Cameras flashed. Questions flew. How does it feel? Do you forgive him? I answered only one. I survived, I said. And that's enough. That night I sat alone. Quiet. No shouting. No fear. Just me. But peace didn't last long, because my phone buzzed. A message. Unknown number. This isn't over. You still owe us. My breath caught. I stared at the screen. Hands cold. Because Victor wasn't the only one involved. And the real danger was just beginning.